All right, welcome back to the Roast It Yourself podcast brought to you by Coffee Bean Corral and Current Crop Roasting Shop. I'm Stephen Burnett with Coffee Bean Corral in Jackson, Mississippi. And with me, as always, is Catherine Mansell, quality grader and director of Current Crop Roasting Shop in New Orleans, Louisiana. Catherine, what's up today?
We adopted a new dog.
Oh, that's fun.
Yes.
New dog's name?
His name's Miles.
Miles.
Yes.
And what kind of...
He's a Great Pyrenees mix. He's going to be Budward's bestie.
Oh.
My big friend.
That is, I mean, you have a lot of dogs in your life, but I also think not enough.
Not enough.
Not enough dogs.
Never be enough.
You can't have enough dogs. Oh my goodness. Well, each week we set aside about 10 minutes to field questions from home coffee roasters and professionals alike about roasting, tasting, and most importantly, enjoying coffee. You can send your coffee questions to questions@riypod.com. That's questions@riypod.com to get a nice shout out from us in an upcoming episode, and of course to get your question answered. This week's question comes from Zach in Maryland, who writes, and this is, by the way, is a kind of a combination of like the different types of questions we get, like roasting, tasting, and enjoying. So here we go. A long email for you. Not as long as we've had. We've had longer, I promise. My name is Zach Ian, and I'm new to home brewing and have found my way into the home roasting community. So he's getting started with home brewing, and he's already got the home roast. He's going to have a lab in his house before too long at this rate. I'm so new, I haven't even brought a home roaster yet. I've been brewing coffee at home for about 4 to 5 months now, and I've been doing a deep dive in home roasting for about 3 months. I'm going to get a fresh roast SR 800 as an early birthday present and have 2 questions for you guys. 1, is there such a thing as beginner-friendly beans that you recommend? Are certain origins easier, or is it more the processing that matters, or does it really just boil down to trial and error? That's question number 1. Question number 2 is a brewing question. I can't seem to bring out many notes with my home brewing, and through research and technique tweaking, I have narrowed it down to my water source. For reference, I brew pour over and French press. What do you guys recommend as some of the best water options for home brewing? I use high alkaline water or spring water from the store since my tap water isn't potable in my town. Would something like a Brita filter be better? I'm a renter, so not going to get a whole filtration system set up in my sink. Fair enough.
Yeah.
But I'm open to any sort of like a pitcher or countertop filter system. I appreciate any insight you could provide. Looking forward to starting my journey here soon. Zach from Maryland. Zach, welcome aboard.
I know, it's exciting.
This is great. We love to hear that.
Yeah.
Catherine, so which one do we want to tackle first?
The first one.
Water. Okay, so the which beans are best? Which kind of beans are easiest?
Central American beans, in all honesty. Yeah. Especially Costa Rican beans. Anything that comes out of La Bonita, honestly. Consistently the same size.
Yep. Roasting on easy mode.
Yes,
literally.
on easy mode. So I truly would start with Costa Rican beans. They're all wash processes, unless you'll still have some micro lots.
I don't know. We did recently.
Look for the wash processes from Costa Rican coffees. They are so uniform and really easy to roast. Your first crack is going to be very audible. The second crack is going to be very audible. Your roasting phases are going to be clear and distinct. So that's a really great and easy place to start our Costa Rican beans.
Yeah. And frankly, they look nice roasted too, which just adds to it. You know what I mean? Yeah.
When you jump into natural processes, the roasting is going to change a bit. There's going to be a lot more chaff. Things are going to be a little bit less clear when you get in that. But I would start with wash processes, Central American. Probably Costa Rican.
Yeah. Colombians are good too. I will say that Colombians are good too. But the consistency now, and the other one I'll say, and the only problem I would throw with this one, I love Nicaraguan coffee. They're huge. They look really nice. But because of that, it can kind of get clogged up in the SR 800, because they're so big, and it can kind of like get stuck halfway up, kind of floating in midair. And it's just nice looking beans at the end of the day, and you want to feel like you did a good job. Frankly, that's important. It's really important. Okay, so beginner friendly, go Costa Rica, Colombia, and work your way up. And I do like your recommendation for washed process. You mentioned that, Zach, and I think washed processes are just easier. They're more even looking, and they don't have the chaff, which with the SR 800 chaff collection is a problem. Not a huge problem, but it is a problem, something to consider.
Work
So
around, but
exactly.
yes.
Okay. So brewing water, high alkaline, low alkaline, potable. It should be potable, right? Drinkable. We should have drinkable water.
You would hope.
I think
you
so.
would hope. I don't have.
Yeah.
I don't think I've had water I could drink out of the tap in any place I've ever lived.
Welcome to Jackson, New Orleans. Yeah. we don't need water around here, right?
Yeah. But what the biggest thing, we go over this in brew methods, beginner brew methods in New Orleans all the time. The quality of your water is a huge reason why your coffee doesn't taste as great as it could at all. We use water packets from a company called Third Wave Water.
Yeah.
We met them at a coffee festival a few years ago. They gave me some samples. Everything tastes completely different. And you can either buy a gallon of distilled water or a gallon of filtered water and put one of these packets in it. They even have them specific for different roast levels. If you're working on cold brew, working on espresso, if you're looking for low acid coffees, they have packets for everything. We even use them for all of our pour over options, the shop, all of our drip coffee, everything that you can drink at the shop in New Orleans has been made with coffee water. That's the biggest thing. You can either even do an experiment at home, buy some distilled water, buy some filtered water, and put a packet in filtered water and taste them all. The distilled water is going to be really flat. You shouldn't be drinking distilled water anyway.
Right.
The filtered water is going to be okay. It's not going to be horrible, but the coffee water is going to be fantastic. Yeah. There are certain minerals that you want in your water, certain minerals you don't want in your water. You need a measure of total dissolved solids, which you can get, what are they called?
TDS meter.
The meter where you can test the water and see if it's something that you need to do. If you're your spring water, if you just throw one of those packets in there, measure the TDS, and if it's within a range, you're good to go. But
even test strips, you just easily
but even if you don't do all of that, even if you just grab a spring water, throw one of those packets in it, and make your coffee, you're going to see a night and day difference from coffee without minerals and coffee with minerals.
100%. Yeah. And or coffee with too many and weird minerals that we have in our water here. Yeah. And that is one. Oftentimes I get samples at events and I don't ever buy the things. Those samples worked because you were like, "This is awesome. Yeah. I need to buy this stuff." So. Yeah, I would definitely say that. I think be careful with distilled water. You want to make sure distilled water will actually leach, like it will cause corrosion in otherwise food safe products. And so like in espresso or in your boiler, like your kettle, it will even cause corrosion in that, can mess up your equipment if you're using distilled water only because it doesn't have any minerals. And so if you add minerals to it, it's great. Yeah. And since I don't know what minerals to add, Third Wave Water is a great way to go. They should really sponsor this podcast. You should reach out to them.
That'd be great.
We will take payment in Third Wave Water packets. Yeah. We will. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's going to be important. I mean, guys, water is 98% of every cup of coffee. It is the vast majority of coffee is water. Yeah. And so if you use good water, if you use water that's especially formulated for, but at least just drinking water, get those 1 gallon containers. I think that's the way to go. But yeah, Zach, thank you so much for the question. Did we leave anything out?
A few things. I have some notes that I took during my queue a few years ago that talks about the ideal water for evaluating coffee. Yep. Now this may not be specific to drip coffee, but it's still going to give you some sort of range of what you're looking for. So you want a clear color. You don't want any odor, any chlorine, any iron, or any sulfur in your water. Your TDS level is 150 milligrams per liter. Calcium hardness 3 to 4 grains, so 51 to 68 milligrams a liter. Alkalinity 40 milligrams a liter, pH between 6.5 and 7.5, and sodium 10 milligrams per liter.
Yeah. If you're furiously taking notes on that, don't worry. I will put this on in the show notes so you can see the actual slide that she's referencing there. And this is for professional coffee tasting. The whole point is to make it like picture perfect and crystal clear and all that stuff. So for home brewing, it's probably overkill to make sure all of those things are hit. But it's a good way to know, like, what's the bullseye? What's like perfect water for brewing coffee with? This is perfect water. And by the way, you mentioned you have used French press. Well, French press is an immersion brew, and cupping is an immersion brew method. So they will actually be connected there too. So. All right. Well, so we hadn't said everything. Now we have nothing to add. Please don't comment. Please don't be redundant, because everything you have to say would either be wrong or it would be already stated by us because we covered everything. Right. So don't even worry about it. And also, while you're at it, don't worry about like liking or subscribing or anything. Don't do that. Please do that. Please do that. It helps us get the podcast out to more people. We hope you enjoyed this episode as much as we enjoyed making it. And if you did, leave us a rating and review on whatever platform you found us on. Also, be sure to like and follow our social media accounts for Coffee Bean Corral and Current Crop, the Rancher Wholesale stuff too. And Roast It Yourself has a Instagram as well. So hop on there and friend us and share pictures of your coffee roasting setup or coffee you've roasted, all that cool stuff. We could not do this without the folks that handle our audio and video and graphic work for the podcast. Thank you guys so much for making us look and sound good. And remember to send any questions you have about coffee in general or coffee roasting in particular to questions@riypod.com. Otherwise, have a great day and happy roasting.
Thanks.